Welcome to Life Planning 101, brought to you by Kennedy Financial Services of Eastland. Tune in every Monday morning at 8:30 on KATX and KWBY, and again on Saturday morning at 9 on KATX and KWBY as Angela Robinson joins Terry Slavens to share important financial information to help you live life on purpose. Insurance, investments, estate and tax planning, and much more. All covered now on Life Planning 101.
And welcome into Life Planning 101 right here on KATX, KWBY on this beautiful Monday morning. Good morning, Angela.
Good morning. Good Monday morning. And of course, as you know, we're going to have a great show today. It happens every week at the same time. Life Planning 101, something you don't want to miss, right?
That's absolutely. Or let's see, are we in a positive mode today, or are we going to?
Well, I can't answer that. Depends on what you hear out of this, right? So
depends on what boat you're in.
That's exactly right. Exactly right. But we're going to be talking primarily to business owners. And before I go into this, I think, it's important to say for those of you that are not business owners, I learned a long time ago that if you open your ears and your eyes and to be able to hear and to see what people are doing in other industries or what people are doing in other walks of life, you can learn everything you want to know about your life.
Sure.
And so I say that as an interlude because just because this is going to be business owner focused, a lot of individuals can benefit from some of these same thoughts and ideas and what we're, the concept of what we're going to be talking about today. But the biggest thing is I was at a conference in January and it's called Forum 400. I'm part of this group and it's not even 400 representatives. It's the top of the top. And I got inducted into this a couple years ago. And I tell you what, it's a humbling experience because I walk in there and, these are guys that work on billion-dollar clients. And I just get to be exposed to this and it's phenomenal learning opportunity for us and just love it. And there was a speaker at this last conference and he was talking, they specialize in business exiting. And so he was talking about the business plan for most business owners. And I got to chuckling because the more he talked, the more I could resonate with, going back and thinking about what people have told me. He says, have you noticed that every business owner has a 5-year plan? Every business owner has a 5-year plan. Why do they have a 5-year plan? Everyone has a 5-year plan. So when do you plan to do this? 5 years. When do you plan to do that? 5 years. When do you plan to leave your business? 5 years. When do you plan to semi-retire? 5 years. Why do they say 5 years? Well, because our minds conceptually can't think beyond 5 years. 5 years is a long time for us to be able to think, right? So we all have a 5-year plan, whether we're a business owner or not. And that's really as far as our mind will stretch. And there's a lot of danger in that 5-year mindset. And I'll tell you why. There was a quote I ran across on the internet this morning. I couldn't find the author of this, but this was phenomenal. It said, if we wait until we're ready, we'll be waiting for the rest of our lives. So if we wait for 5 years, we're going to be waiting for another 5 years. And waiting for another 5 years.
Because 5 years never gets here.
Yeah, 5 years never gets here. It's indefinite for a business owner. Right. And when we find this to be so true, in fact, it broke my heart. A couple years ago, we had a gentleman come in. And he's been a client of ours for several years, and we've been trying to get him to plan for several years and take money out of his business, diversify his assets, do different things. And it came time, his health has started to fail him, and he said, I've got to sell my business. I can't work any longer. I would want to work, but I can't work any longer. And he's 68 years old. And so my brother does some business valuations, preliminary business valuations, being a CFA. So he took the numbers and went through everything and came up with a number. And the guy thought, I have a couple $1 million business. Well, no, it was about $300,000 was the value of his business, what he could sell it for. Because it had been commoditized from the time that he had started that business over 30 years ago to today. And, that's something that we don't think about a lot is, here he was banking on one thing his whole life. That 5-year exit plan, right? That's going to be his windfall. It's going to be able to take care of him. The thing that he's taken care of for 30 years is going to be able to take care of him. But it wasn't true at all. So, going back to that statement, if we wait until we're ready, we'll be waiting for the rest of our lives. He's got nothing to wait on. He had to keep working. He's either going to have to hire somebody, find a different way to do it, or go be a greeter at Walmart, so to speak, and figure out a retirement job, because there is no other option for him. And we see business owners do this all the time. I mean, I could share with you thousands of stories of, they think that, okay, and, we're all guilty. If you have a business, it's your baby. It's what you do. It's your passion in life. I hope it's your passion in life. If it's not, get out. It's your passion in life. It's your legacy. It's what you put your heart, your blood, your sweat, your tears, your emotions into. Your sacrifices in life go into this business. So why should it not give you back when you are ready for it to give you back? But the world changes too.
Sure.
And those are things that you have no control over happening. And I'll give you another example. We had a lady, she had an assisted living facility. How you think that would probably be a nice investment, right?
Right.
I mean, my gosh, you got lots of baby boomers that are getting older. This is a good thing, right? So she had an assisted living facility. She got offered $12 million for it. She didn't take it because she wasn't quite ready to retire. That's it. Not quite ready to retire. Wanted a few more years. Well, guess what? Her health also got the best of her. This happens to business owners. It's kind of a reoccurring theme. So take care of yourself. That's another topic for another day. But take care of yourself. Go to ViaScan. Do the things you need to be doing, right?
Right.
But her health got the best of her. Had to sell. Guess what year it was? 2009.
Oh,
How was the financing in 2009 to go buy a business?
not good.
She sold her business for $5.5 million. $12 million down to
And plus,
$5.5
if
million.
people know that you're in a have-to situation,
That's right. They take advantage of it all day long, don't they?
they're going to prey on you.
That's exactly right.
And I
So
don't mean P-R-A-Y.
that's right. So, I think that the point in telling you these stories is that we all say it won't happen to me. Or I've got another 5 years in me. But only God knows that.
Sure.
So when that opportunity comes along, are you going to be ready for it? What can you do about it? And even if you aren't ready for it, even if you're 10 years out, 15 years out, or you can say, my 5 years is a while out, what are you doing today to plant that seed? Because if you are just starting a business, and we watch this happen too, I mean, and you think about it, think pharmacy. I'll pick on pharmacy for a second. Think pharmacy. CVS, Walgreens, are these becoming everyday shops in every single town? What's going to happen to the mom and pop shops out there?
Going to go away.
So if you bought a business 5-10 years ago that was a pharmacy, and you think that it's going to last for 30 years and be a sellable asset down the road, you might really question how that's going to occur or what you're going to do to make sure that that is the case. Because in the case of the gentleman I told you about first, that was almost the exact situation. He wasn't a pharmacy, but his business had been commoditized by technology. And you have to realize that that is a real thing and a real threat to your business. So should you be sinking every dollar you have back into your business, or should you have a backup plan?
Backup plan.
It's probably very true. So when we come back, I'm going to give you a few scenarios of business owners that we've seen and give you some ideas to work around that may fit, your current lifestyle. Don't require a lot of change, but imagine you could pull cash out of your business today. Imagine you could develop an exit plan for 5 years that's rolling. So if that opportunity doesn't come along, you've got one in place. And that's what we're going to talk about on today's show. You don't want to miss Life Planning 101.
Segment 2 already of Life Planning 101. We're talking to business owners, but all you individuals, don't go away.
Yes.
You might learn something.
That's right. We were talking about the quote, if we wait until we're ready, we'll be waiting for the rest of our lives. And this is so true about business owners. Well, I'll wait till 5 years to talk about that. I'll wait till 5 years to think about exit planning. I want to semi-retire in 5 years and then see how it goes. I want to retire in 5 years, but I don't have time to think about a plan today. I mean, how many times do we hear all this? And this happens all the time. And I always think about if you have a picture, put a picture in your head and imagine yourself on a cliff. And you look down and it's, 10,000 feet down that cliff. And there's waves crashing up against the, island in between. And then there's another cliff on the other side that you want to get over there. You want to get to, because over there, there's where you want to be.
Right.
You're on this deserted side, horrible, there's no food, nothing. And over there's the life of plentiful. Just imagine Eden, right? You're over there and you want to be able to get there, but you don't know how to cross that area, right? You can't jump from one cliff to another. It's impossible. Yet we see business owners try to do that all the time. They try to wait till they're pushed up against the edge of that cliff and they have no resources to get to where they want to go. And it's either they just got to jump and my gosh, if they fall, then they fall. If they make it, they make it. But that's the risk that they're taking by pushing their plan right up to that last day and saying, I'm ready to retire now. I'm finally ready to retire, or I'm finally being forced to retire. And we see that happen all the time. And I can't tell people how important it is just to have a backup plan in place. And so, one of the things that I want to walk through is I want to walk through some scenarios that we've hit. And I'm going to ask this in form of questions of, is this you? Okay, so the first one is, I have a small business, just a few employees. I pay a lot in taxes. That sounds familiar. I'm behind on my retirement savings, and my current retirement plan won't allow me to put back enough to catch up, or maybe I don't feel like I have the dollars to put back enough to catch up. And one of my biggest fears is that if I die or my health fails me, my family's going to suffer financially. And I want my spouse to be comfortable. After all, that's the person in life I want to take care of most. And I want to be able to let her to do the things that are most important to her and focus on the grandkids.
Right.
So we hear this all the time. So one idea, and by the way, all of these ideas are actually written in this week's article, and you can go on to Kennedy-financial.com, and you can download these under our weekly life lessons and sign up for our newsletter. But this first one's called a qualified combo plan. And I always get this, a what? But in a nutshell, what it is it's coupling a retirement plan with a hedge against those events that could happen, such as your health failing or a sudden death, right? And the way that, most people believe that they can be able to retire or do something is just to sell their business. Well, we just talked about the risk of doing that. So would you agree with me that we're in an opportune time to be able to use some of Uncle Sam's dollars to be able to set aside and diversify, do something different for ourselves?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, right? We've been talking about that on the show for, 6 months now, right? Yeah, and this year probably bigger than ever. In fact, I worked up a scenario. Gosh, and I wish I brought that with me. This last week, similar situation. The guy was going to end up paying over $50,000 in tax. We got his tax down to $4,000.
Wow.
Yeah, we got it down $46,000, right?
$46,000. We can do something else.
That's right. And that $46,000, what we're doing is we're putting it back for his future, for his family. He's not going to touch it, but it's going to be there and it's going to hedge all these risks. And the beautiful thing about this is not only can you do that now, but we always talk about a ticking tax bomb with retirement money. If you put back money tax deferred, you eventually have to pay tax on it, right? Well, by doing it this way, you can actually create a spread in that retirement plan where you can pull money back out tax-free. How about that? Yes. So it's a pretty phenomenal little tool, and it works really, really well. Works really, really well if you've had like a simple plan for years, or a small 401k you haven't been contributing much to, or just the basic for your small business and your employees. That's where it works phenomenally, because you just take that and it's like enhancing it. It's like putting it on steroids and making it work best for you. And I'm going to tell you a little secret here. This whole tax reform has a cliff in 2026. It's going away. So when that happens, what are you going to do when your taxes may go back up or will go back up? Are you ready for that? So if you're just enjoying the ride, so to speak, and using these tax dollars to spend freely, is that something that you're going to regret?
Because the unknown of what happens in 2026.
That's right. If your tax dollars if you went back up to what you're paying last year, the year before, and this year you got a $50,000 break, and you just went and spent that frivolously, or even not frivolously, even just like I was saying, what I have to spend money on or think I need to spend money on, my landscaping or my pool or all these other things that I'd like to do, right? But then you look back at the end of that time and you say, is that something that I'm going to regret doing? Is not using those years to be able to create this hedge for all these risks in my business.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, and there's a difference between a want and a need.
That is exactly right.
I mean,
exactly right.
I see that periodically. I need this. I said, no, do we need this or do we want this?
That's right.
And if it's a want, it goes to the bottom of the list.
That's right. You know, I was reading my devotion this morning. I get this little thing that pops up, and it was about the Israelites and how upset they were, you know, that they were only getting manna. They said, man, when we were back in Egypt, we got these melons, we got these cucumbers, we got all this food, and here we get manna every day. And instead of looking at the miracle that was happening every day, that was falling from the sky and they were getting food, they were just focused on what they wanted versus what they needed. And we get caught up in that as Americans more than anybody. My gosh, we live in the land of the free. We are so blessed, right? And we get to focus on the things that are most important to us. We have those opportunities to do it right here and right now, but maybe we just want that jet boat. Maybe we just want that, you know, hot rod golf cart. Maybe whatever it is, you know, is that really that important when you have the opportunity staring you in the face of a lifetime with this tax reform to be able to do something for your future and to secure it, not to bank on having to jump off that cliff and hoping you make it to the other side at the last moment. When we come back, 2 more ideas you don't want to miss.
And welcome back to Life Planning 101 right here on KTX KWY. Final segment already, Angela.
Yes, I know. And we've got 2 more ideas to get through, so we better get on this with business owners. There's a scenario out there that I think a lot of people can, you know, figure in their head this is them. My whole life has been my business, kind of like we started out, right? I haven't saved a penny for retirement. My business is my retirement. And we talked about the risks in that. And, you know, one of the risks that we didn't talk about was their fear, this business owner's fear of being sued, and then no other assets to fund their retirement plan if their business doesn't make it, not because of them, but because of the world changing around them, such as technology, like we talked about. And I think that's a fear in every business owner's mind, no matter what. You know, we just keep going. We are willing to take those risks, but, you know, and we just say God will provide and keep moving forward. But at the same time, He has also given us the ability to have some prudent concern, okay? And we need to have some prudent concern and start hedging our risks along the way.
You know, where we live here, being in the oil industry, if the oil takes a downturn and your business is highly involved in oil production,
that's right,
and your health fails during one of those downturns,
you're done.
Your
You're toast.
business is worth millions 2 years ago could go down drastically.
That's exactly right. And we just, we just had a client call us last week and say, I got an offer on my business in the oil industry, and we said, take it. Because we've seen this too many times. People wait too long and then they don't get the same offer.
Right.
And by the way, he's getting more than what we valued his business at. So, you know, it's a heck of a, and he should be getting a premium because oil prices are where they're at today.
Right.
You know, so don't take those things for granted. Don't get greedy. And the truth of it is if you do have that 5-year plan and you haven't had that buyer come up, but you know that that buyer is on the edge, put your business value to work for you today. You're worried about being sued. Do you know if you put your business up for collateral, then the bank has what's called a UCC1 statement on your business, and guess who can't sue you? Anybody.
Nobody.
Because the bank has you as collateral, right? So why not use that to your advantage and leverage your business? And we see this all the time, to be able to create tax-free retirements. You know, if we have some exit plan out there in the future, or even an inheritance. This works with an inheritance too. You know, you're going to receive X dollars for an inheritance 5 to 10 to 15 years down the road. You know, leverage up to be able to save for retirement. So in other words, start putting money back today. And there's a way you can do this tax-free, by the way. Start putting money back today. And then when that big event happens, that exit plan happens, that inheritance happens, you pay off that debt, right? And you've really been loaning the money to your own self in a sense, because you're using Uncle Sam's money to pay for this,
Right.
okay? So, and then at the end, you've got your cake and you eat it too. Or maybe you didn't get what you thought you'd get for your business. You're still okay because you've been putting these dollars aside all along. So there's a lot of ways to skin this cat without having, all your eggs in one basket. You heard that your whole life, right?
Right.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket. But what does every business owner do inevitably?
All of our eggs are in one basket.
All of our eggs are in one basket. That's right. So diversification, if you're not picking up on this, is extremely key, okay? And so I'm going to leave you with one last one. And I left this for last because this is probably my favorite of all things. I love doing these because when people figure out what they can do, they're like, are you kidding me? Is that real? Is that legal? And we say, yes and yes, this is great. And so perhaps this is you. I'm sick of paying taxes. Well, that's everybody. I'm burnt out. I want out. But this is my legacy. It's my business. It's for my children. It's for my employees. I have to keep going for the people that have helped me to get to where I'm at today. I want to pass this down to my grandchildren because they're taking interest in the business. I got to hang on. I got to keep going. But you're burnt out and you're actually probably putting a drag on your business.
Right.
So what about a tax-free exit? What about a business that you never taxed on again, or the kids are never taxed on again?
Tell us more.
I know, isn't that awesome? So, and you can have your cake and eat it too. You can sell your business to your employees and to your children and or your children, grandchildren. And you can do it where you get all of your profit out tax-free. So you don't pay a penny on what you're selling your business for. The business turns into a tax-free entity because of the way you design this, like a 501c3. So
Right.
think about that. So any profits that are in that business are now tax-free to the kids. So guess what? They're using Uncle Sam's money to pay you off. Isn't that cool?
That's cool.
And then when they go to reinvest assets, they don't have to pay tax on that before they reinvest assets or grow the business or get it to that next level. And by the way, if say you have a bunch of employees today but may have grandkids in the future, you can withhold a certain percentage of stock out of your business in the process of all this and virtually dilute that tax-free entity back to 100% control where you now own it, and you can then pass it down to those grandkids at 100%. Pretty cool.
Very cool.
Yeah,
I
I call it-
also can see why people say, is that legal?
Is that legal? Yes, it is legal. It's very technical. Obviously, these strategies all are, right? We highly consider working with the team, your tax professionals, your attorneys, everything. But, the main thing is to get motivated. Quit saying 5 years. Quit saying it. Because everybody's got a 5-year plan. Everybody has a 5-year plan. And that's our Twitter poll for today. So do you have a 5-year plan in place, to exit your business? And if that's the case, you need to start working on it today. Use this time. Use tax reform. I can't tell you how important it is, because right now is the opportunity of a lifetime to be able to use Uncle Sam's dollars and have your cake. Eat it too. Do all the above. Enjoy life and not fear the unknown of what the world's going to do to your business, not just what you can do with your business. With that, my name is Angela Robinson with Kennedy Financial Services here in the great town of Eastland, Texas. God bless and have a great week.
Thank you for joining us for Life Planning 101, brought to you by Kennedy Financial Services of Eastland. Tune in every Monday morning at 8:30 on KATX and KWBY, and again on Saturday morning at 9 o'clock on KATX and KWBY for more Life Planning 101.
Advisory services offered through Smart Money Group, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Securities offered through Calton & Associates Incorporated, member FINRA SIPC. Kennedy Financial Services Incorporated is an independent of Calton & Associates Incorporated and Smart Money Group, LLC.